Hey there, YouTube family. I am Jackie Day, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Hearth and Apron. Today's episode, I have two yummy recipes that I am really psyched to show you. One is a chicken cordon bleu casserole, and another is where we are going to make barbecue ribs in my Instapot in less than an hour and a half that are fall off the bone worthy. Now, we are also going to give this kitchen a good clean, go ahead and get all of these surfaces and get my dishes done. And then we are going to also declutter and organize my witch cupboard. Yes, you heard that correct, my witch cupboard. Every girl needs a space to put her remedies, potions, and different trinkets. I hope that you will stick around and find out what I put inside and how I organize it, and I hope that you will like it. We are also going to be taking a trip outside to the potager garden where we are going to finish and plant our wall of strawberries. We have 19 strawberries to get into the wall, and I am really excited with how it turned out. I can't wait to hear your opinion. As you can see, my dishes are done, so we're gonna go right out and just get all these counters and surface areas wiped down. I'm still super loving my last makeover on the coffee bar, but I like to change things up a lot. I blame my Gemini nature, and I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I change up the coffee bar area or leave it this way for a little while? Right now I'm going to go ahead and try and clean this microwave out with my Mrs. Meyer's cleaner, and I know that when everything's nice and moist and you turn it on for just a little bit, it does help to get the stuff off. I did go ahead and clean it with these cleaners, but I don't know that it was the best for the job. I would really have preferred to use my white vinegar cleaner like I normally do, but this was kind of a rushed clean. I am thrilled to share this first recipe with you. It is a chicken cordon bleu casserole. I did not have a specific recipe for this. It's kind of Pinterest inspired. Learned that from Tiffany Beeston, by the way, that term. Which basically means I looked at a whole bunch of different recipes on Pinterest and kind of adapted it with what I had around the house and, and how I thought that it should be. We're going to start off by dicing about half a shallot and 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. Now that everything's all diced up, we're going to throw it into a pan and saute it in olive oil for 4 to 5 minutes. While our onions and shallots are sauteing, we're going to go ahead and chop up these herbs that I pulled out of my garden. We have oregano, thyme, and parsley. And I'm just going to finely dice them up, and we're going to set them aside to add to our chicken in just a minute as well. To go ahead and add my chicken, and as you can see, it is already cut into 1-inch strips. That is because I pre-prep my meats and have them already vacuum sealed and cut up for each meal. That way it kind of just saves me a little bit of time when I'm cooking. We're going to go ahead and add the diced herbs that we just did, and we're going to add some olive oil, ground pepper, and salt. And we're just going to let this cook until it's cooked all the way through, flipping it about 5 minutes over so that you kind of get a nice browning on each side. While the chicken is cooking, we're going to go ahead and get a pot of boiling water going because we are going to start some egg noodles. Now, I got these egg noodles from Thrive Market and I am really enjoying them. If you'd like a discount for trying Thrive, I should have a link down below for you in the description. I really enjoy them. Being from a rural area, it kind of gives me the opportunity to get things that I might not be able to get at my local market. Once those noodles are done, you're going to go ahead and throw them into a casserole pan and put your chicken right in with them. Make sure to give all that extra garlic and oil from your chicken into it as well and kind of mix it around a little bit. And then we're going to head back over to the stove and we're going to use that same pan to make our sauce. Now we are going to make my Parmesan mustard cream sauce. It is incredibly easy. All you need are 4 ingredients. 1 tablespoon of melted butter, half a cup of heavy cream, 1 large handful of Parmesan cheese, and a half a teaspoon of stone ground mustard. You cook all of these until they're well mixed and all the cheese is melted, and then you take it right over to your casserole dish that already has your noodles and chicken, and you pour it in on top and mix it really well in together. After everything gets mixed together, we are going to take out some baby Swiss slices, and I am going to cover the whole casserole in baby Swiss. You can also add ham right here, but I forgot it, and then I ended up kind of sauteing it and adding it on the top, kind of like a crispy topping, and I kind of liked it better, but that's up to you. After you've got the Swiss cheese on there, then you're going to put some breadcrumbs all along the top. And my secret to always making my breadcrumb toppings taste better is I like to add half a cup of croutons. I feel like that really just helps to add a lot of flavor. And then I also take and add crispy onions and crispy jalapenos to it as well. And I really feel like that kind of just takes it through the moon in a really yummy way. And let me know if you try this out. I think you'll really dig it. Once we've added our extra crispies, we're going to go ahead and throw this into the oven at 375 degrees until the top just starts to seem like the cheese is all melted and starting to brown just ever so slightly. I would love to give you a time, but that's just kind of how I keep track of it. Now's the part where I realized I forgot my ham. So I went ahead and just chopped it up into uber little fine diced pieces, and I threw it in, I think, with maybe a teaspoon of butter or less, and I just sauteed it until they got nice and crispy, and I added it to the top of the casserole when they were done, and it was amazing. So there it is, guys. This is my chicken cordon bleu casserole. I hope that you really like it. If you decide to try it out, don't forget to leave me a comment down below to let me know what you think. Or if you have an Instagram, make sure to take a pic and tag me on. So this is my witch cupboard. I've also seen them referred to as apothecary cupboard, but I like to call mine a witch cupboard because it's where I make all of my magical potions and fun. It's where I can make teas at the instant thought. And if I want an incense, it's only a minute away. There are so many things that I like to keep in here, and I have been collecting the jars that I used inside for many years. I've got like just little different treasures that I have, some stuff for candles. It's just kind of an array of all different kinds of things. I'm really excited to show you this cupboard. It's actually one of my favorite spaces in the house, so let's go. You can tell how dusty this is, but it was crazy dusty. This was way overdue. So I went ahead and used my Dyson to dust everything out first, and then I came through with my Method Daily Wood Cleaner. It smells like almonds. It's delightful. And I just went ahead and cleaned everything out so we had a fresh start. I decided Lazy Susans were the best way to organize this space. I actually wish that I had gotten a couple more, and I will in the future, but for the meantime, I think the space turned out really well. If you're wondering what I'm putting inside, these orange and purple bottles are what will eventually be a rainbow of bottles that are going to consist of our daily vitamins and medicines that we take on the regs. I told my husband if we have to take Muggle medicines, then they should look beautiful too. And so that is one of the things that we have put into here so far. And then I'm going to start to bring in some of the just different treasure box with trinkets, start putting in some of my teas, bringing in some of the larger jars, which actually contain some of the herbs that we grow in our own yard. And I'm going to be using these chalkboard labels because I often change out what I like to put in them, especially because it largely comes with what we decided to grow in the yard that year. And some things aren't perennial. So the chalkboard labels make it so that I can versatilely change out these jars for whichever project that I'm wanting. And because I have been collecting them for about 15 years now, I really don't want to get rid of them, and I'd like to have them as reusable as possible. If you're wondering specifically what some of these herbs are, some of them are the different kinds of mints that we grow in the yard, lemon balm, I think we've got some burdock root, meadowsweet, eyebright, angelica, skullcap, mullein, valerian. There's just all kinds of different things. There's activated charcoal in here. I just have an array of just so many different little treasures that all have so many uses. That's the thing about working with herbs. They are so good in so many directions. But as you can see on the top, I also have the two-tiered stand, and you'll see I put in another, and those contain a lot of our matchas and our teas that we like to drink. We like to use loose herb tea because we have strainers, and then it's just a little bit more eco-conscious. We can put those herbs right in the compost, and we don't even have any paper products being used at all. And so I really love David's tea. That's where we get almost all of our teas. If you are interested in a new tea company, check them out. If you're a chai goer, I recommend Saigon Chai. It is my absolute favorite. But don't underestimate their white tea Buddha's blend either. So you will notice that I'm kind of trying to separate a couple of these things off, and this bottom little turntable here actually has a lot of my incenses and different little supplies that I have, and right next to it I have a lot of my resins like gum copal, frankincense, myrrh, dragon's blood that I can make my own incenses with. I've also, I think, got some amber paste in there and things of that nature, but I wanted to keep them kind of separated and together so that it was really obvious that that is what those were. You'll also notice I kind of separated my medicines off to one side. I just kind of tried to keep things so that they're easy to know as possible. When my daughter was little, I really tried to make sure to put a red label on anything that wasn't for eating. That way she always could feel free to come in and make her own teas or fun, exciting little things, but also know what she was working with. By the way, I also put orange labels on things that she had to ask permission to use first, and green labels on the things that were just, chamomile leaves, lavender petals, like things like that. So, do you have a cupboard like this at your house? If so, don't forget to let me know down below, and also let me know what you think. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, now's the time. It's right down below you. Alright guys, time for our next recipe. We are going to make Instant Pot barbecue ribs from start to finish in less than an hour and a half. Now, I don't know if you cook these normally, but I put them in my oven and it takes hours and it heats up my entire house. And it being a hot summer day, that's just not what I wanted to do. So I decided to adapt my recipe to the Instant Pot, and it worked out fantastic. To start this, we are going to need the sauce that we put into the bottom of our Instant Pot. We are going to mix 1 cup of chicken broth, half a cup of barbecue sauce, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, a shallot lightly cut up, and garlic. That's all you need to do to put into the bottom of the pot, and you're ready to go for that part.
Now I'm going to make a rub for my pork. If there's one that you already prefer, go ahead and use that, but if you'd like to try something different, this is what I do. And for the record, it's going to make way more than you are going to need. You only need to use just a little bit of it, but I only know how to make it in this proportion right now. So we are going to mix 1.5 teaspoons of salt, half a teaspoon of ground pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder, 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground mustard seed, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne, and that's optional if you'd like it. And then you mix this up really well, and then you're just going to sprinkle it over top of your ribs and kind of rub it in on both sides. So I am using St. Louis style ribs this time, but I do prefer to use baby back ribs, but I was really still happy with the way that it turned out. What kind of ribs do you prefer to make? Now that that's done, we are going to go ahead and cut up this shallot so that we can go ahead and add it to the bottom of our pot as well. Whoops, I almost forgot. You have to pull off this back skin layer off the ribs. I guess I forgot because I don't like to think about it. Can I just say that it's a lot easier on the baby back ribs than it was on the St. Louis style ribs? So I am now going to put these into the Instant Pot for 40 minutes with a 10-minute release. Time for our sides. We are going to make some Parmesan orzo right now. I actually already cooked the orzo up while we were working on the ribs, but I wanted to show you what I do with it afterwards. So I put in 1/4 cup of chicken broth. I add about a handful of Parmesan cheese. I sprinkle it with Lowry's garlic salt, and then I add a little bit of parsley. I maybe added a little bit more parsley than I normally add to this one, but it is really yummy. You should try it. The ribs are fresh out of the Instant Pot. I am not going to lie, I'm having a hard time keeping my hands off them. It is just falling off of the bones. But I like to have that kind of barbecue charcoaliness on the outside. So what we're going to do right now is, as you can see, I put barbecue sauce all along the top. I'm going to kind of rub that in on both sides, and then we are going to go take it out to the grill and cook it 5 minutes on each side and bring it in, and it's time to eat. As you can see, we are prepping salad on the side, and those romaine lettuce leaves you saw in the beginning were fresh from my garden. We are going to add those along with some green leaf lettuce. We're going to cut up some cucumber and tomato and carrots and just make a really simple salad. I added this part because I think really often I show you the main dish that I make and I don't show you that, don't worry, we are having a vegetable on the side. They're just simple things a lot of the times like salad or a steamed veggie. Would you rather have me show you the sides that I'm making as well, or just leave them out because you know what to do? potager garden. Now what we're going to do is work on making a strawberry wall, is what we're calling it. We've seen on Pinterest where people had used gutters, but we decided that in the Arizona heat that could really easy turn into like a little bit of an oven for the strawberry roots. But we liked the idea of having the strawberries growing vertically, so we came up with this idea. I think it's working well so far. Some of the plants went a little bit into shock, but I think overall it worked out really well. Unfortunately, I did have it filmed where I planted these strawberries, but I lost it, so I'm just going to show you a picture of how it turned out at the end. As you can see, my awesome daughter Hope and my lovely, wonderful hubby Nate are helping me put this all together and helping me stain it. There's going to come a point where I lost the footage, and then we'll just get straight to the end. If you guys are still here, leave an emoji for me down below so that I can say hi and thank you. To do this project, we used two 4x4x6 posts. We used concrete to set them, as well as this tar stuff that my husband did so that they didn't go bad. We also used 2x6-inch boards as well as 2x4 boards, and I think they were 5 feet apart in the middle and just a little bit longer so that it compensated for those 4x4 boards on the side. And we went ahead and just screwed these all in, and then we stained them with the Clove Stain by Bear, and that's actually what we're using on our whole fence eventually. It's just a little bit day by day. I present you with our strawberry wall. Now, there's a lot more that's happened in the potager garden, and I cannot wait to show you, but that's for another episode. Make sure to subscribe down below so that you get to see more fun in the future.